In this video, I want to talk to you about giving up is not an option. My name is Shonda Miles. I am a high performance coach, and I want to talk to you about giving up is not an option. And so I just thought I would talk about a hard situation for me. So I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, I found out that my husband was cheating on me. It was the worst time in my life. You don't realize the effect of somebody cheating on you, how it would affect you, how your life will be different, how your life will be changed, how you have to do something different so that you can be better, so that you can fill the void, so that you can help yourself move forward. And of course, I'm a Christian. I love God, and I was praying for myself every single day, and life was still happening. I was still working. I was still doing all the things that I needed to do. And so, you want to give up. You just need a break. You just need time to kind of heal and get yourself together. That was not an option. At that time, I had, 5 children. I was, still married. I was still in the house with my husband, and I was working full time. We're in a position where I was having to show up every single day and be there for other people in a major way. It was tough. It was tough. But I realized that giving up is not an option. And so, you look for resources. Who can I get to support me? What do I need for support? What do I need help with? How do I need to be supported? How do I feel? And so, you start looking at, I started journaling every single day. I started going to therapy. I started taking time for myself. I started looking at, okay, really being self-aware. What things do I need to change? How can I be better? How can I improve the person that I am? How can I be my best? What is my destiny? I started looking to God, like, what is my purpose? What did you call me here to do? And I started thinking about, you look at, I had kids that were counting on me. There was no breaking apart. There was no sitting in a puddle. There was no, crying for, 3 or 4 months. There was none of that, because there was mortgages to be paid, right? There was money to be made. There were things that had to be done. And so I realized that I thrive in, things that are happening around me that are uncontrolled. Some people might say it's a tragedy. Some people might say it's catastrophic, but I've learned to thrive in that. And so you get to a point where you get this spirit where you just keep going. You get this perseverance in your spirit where quitting is not an option, that you're going to keep going no matter what. You're going to focus on what God called you to do. And I just started praying to God every single day. Of course, I was doing it already, but it was different at this time, because I needed God to help me to make it. And I started looking at, okay, what do I need to do? And so like I said, I started going to therapy. And of course, when you go to therapy, the real work starts after therapy. So I would go to my session, take all these notes, and I would leave out and I would go and do the work. And I would be praying, asking God to help me. Sometimes I didn't have the words, and I would just call on the name of Jesus, and he would help me every single day. And sometimes you have girlfriends that you need to talk to. You need somebody that can be a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to cry on. And then you just, every single day, you look for resources. Are there books that I can read or audio I can listen to? Because for me, it could be, you could find yourself ruminating, right? You got all these questions in your head. Why did this happen? Why did this, who is it? All these different things. All of this stuff is out of your control and completely irrelevant, right? There's nothing you can do with the information, right? The point is when you have pain, when you have things that are happening in your life, you got to regroup and say, okay, what do I need? Is there a support group that can support me? Can I journal about this experience? Can I pray? Can I read books on this so I can see how other people overcame this, how other people were able to get through this? What do I need to do? What steps do I need to take? How can I support myself? How can I take care of myself in this hard season? What do I need? And then you start doing things that you need to do to take care of yourself. And then little by little, you start to get better. You start to feel better. You realize that ruminating over these negative things that have happened don't help, right? You got to start thinking about where you want to be in your life, where you want to, what you're trying to accomplish. What are you working towards? Who needs you? How can you support people? How can you be better? And so I always think, if you are in a tough place, the best thing you can do is go help somebody else. That's the best thing you can do. You can't sit around sulking. The best thing you can do is go help somebody else, and it's going to help you as well. You do you write in your journal, see how you're feeling, what's happening, what's your triggers, And then you have to keep going no matter what. You have to figure out if it's moment by moment, if it's day by day, if it's week by week, if it's month by month. You're figuring out that you can keep going, that you can get through this. You can, you look at these resources, these things that can help you, and you start seeing that other people made it. And you realize that if somebody else made it through, I know I can make it through. If somebody hadn't made it through, I know I can be the first, right? We realize, you start looking at, okay, I've been through hard things before. So what have I been through before that I've overcame? And so I started thinking about, I was a teenage mom. When I graduated from high school, I was 5 months pregnant. I had a baby when I was 18. I had another baby when I was 19. And you just start thinking about, I've been through hard things before. So I have the strength to survive. I can make it no matter what. And you just keep going forward no matter what. You know that if you've been through hard things before, you can make it. You start drawing on that strength. You say, okay, it was hard this time and I think I was going to make it and God saw me through. Okay, what did I do? How did I get through it? Did I have to cry? If I had to cry, you cry. If you talk to a girlfriend, you talk, whatever it is, you start looking, okay, how did I make it through this before? And then what do I have to do now to make it through again? But if you've been through something hard, you can go through something hard again. And most of us have been through things. We've had children, we've raised children, we have little kids at home, we've been divorced, we are working. Some of us have worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and we have learned to handle our responsibilities, take care of our priorities, and we've still continued to move forward. And so you start looking at what you've done, how you've overcome all the things that were challenging on the days when you wanted to quit, and you kept going. You were able to overcome those hard things. And then you just realize, okay, I can do hard things. Like, this is hard, but I've been through it before. I've been through hard things before, and I can make it. I'm strong. You start speaking over your life. You start saying positive things to yourself. I like myself. I like myself. I am enough. I am whatever it is. I am, hardworking. I have, whatever it is. You start thinking about all these different things and you start saying things to yourself. You only say positive things to yourself. You don't never say anything negative. You don't question yourself about, am I enough? No, you're enough because you're a child of the Most High God. And you just start speaking over yourself every single day. You start saying positive things to yourself. You start thinking things positive. You got these positive images in your head. Whenever something negative comes up, whenever something, you start thinking about, something that's crazy, right? You just start replacing those things with something positive, and every single day you just keep moving forward every single day, and you'll look around and you'll feel better. You'll look around and things will be better. You'll look around and you'll be healed. You look around and you're growing. You'll look around and you'll change. So keep going no matter what. It's going to get better. You're going to get better because you're going to persevere all the way through to the end.